My name is Leo Wright. All my life, I've been good at exactly two things: being ridiculously handsome and having absurdly good luck. Besides that, I'm pretty much useless. I've always been kind of insecure about it. In elementary school, I was constantly finding money. My allowance was basically infinite. My mom would give me $5 in the morning, and I'd come home with 100. Eventually, she quit her job and just started dragging me around town to find things. My education suffered quite a bit. In middle school, my grades were terrible. By all rights, I shouldn't have even gotten into a decent high school. But on the day of the entrance exams, for every single test, the girl sitting in front of me had a massive crush on me. They all passed me cheat sheets, and I ended up getting into the best magnet school in the city. In high school, my grades were still a joke. I had no shot at college. Then, the night before the SATs, I had a dream. The entire test, math, reading, writing, all the questions just floated in front of my face. I woke up in a haze, scribbled down everything I could remember, and had the class valedictorian, another girl with a crush on me, check the answers. My final SAT score was a 1580, a damn near perfect score. I almost became the county's top scorer. I was terrified. This wasn't just performing well under pressure. This was divine intervention. When my classmates found out, they were stunned. My teachers were baffled. My dad put down his heavy leather Carhartt belt and looked at me with a complicated expression. "So, you're some kind of secret genius?" he asked. "You've been hiding this pretty well all these years." I had nothing to say. I ended up getting into Northgate University, a top 5 school, majoring in embedded systems. The county even gave me a $20,000 scholarship. On the first day of class, I opened my textbook and my world came crashing down. The stuff in there might as well have been written in ancient Greek. It was clear my luck had pushed me to a place I absolutely did not belong. I stumbled my way through college until the senior year job fairs. With my GPA, no respectable company should have even glanced at my resume. I was well aware of this. My plan was to finish my degree, go back home, and take over my dad's pig farm and the 50 acres that came with it. But then, my life took another weird turn. I met a very superstitious, new age tech CEO named Marcus Thorne. He spotted me from across the crowded, chaotic university cafeteria. He was dressed to the nines in a designer suit, looking every bit the self-made billionaire. Standing next to him was a man in flowing robes who looked like some kind of spiritual guru. They walked right over and sat down opposite me. Marcus introduced his company, Apex Industrial, a heavy machinery manufacturer. I'd heard of them. They were one of the companies recruiting on campus. They made excavators. Without even asking for my name, Marcus eagerly asked for my exact birth date, time, and location. I was totally confused. Wasn't an interview supposed to start with a resume? I didn't think much of it and gave him the info. The robe guru next to him plugged the details into an astrology app on his phone, did some calculations, and then slammed his hand on the table. He pointed a dramatic finger at me and shouted to Marcus, "It's him! It's him! He's the one!" His voice was so loud that half the cafeteria turned to stare. I jumped to my feet and yelled back, "No, I'm not the Messiah." The excitement on Marcus's face was impossible to miss. He offered me a ridiculously high salary and a $5,000 signing bonus. Without a second thought, I turned him down. I figured there had to be a catch. I mean, even the top engineering students in my class weren't getting offers like that. Me? What had I done to deserve it? Self-awareness is my greatest virtue, but I underestimated Marcus's determination. The guy started camping outside my dorm building every single day. Everywhere I went, he followed. He even started stuffing cash into my pockets. I was scared out of my mind, convinced he was a lunatic. I went to my academic advisor and told him what was happening. The advisor agreed. Marcus sounded unhinged and called campus security, who promptly escorted him off the premises. I still underestimated his resolve. A few days later, my dad showed up, and trailing behind him, grinning like an idiot, was Marcus Thorne. The moment my dad unbuckled his leather Carhartt belt, I knew some kind of backroom deal had been struck. Sure enough, what my dad said next didn't surprise me. He gripped the belt and pointed it at me. "I've checked out Mr. Thorne's company. It's legit. I'm giving you two choices," he continued. "Either you go work for him, or you take a beating and come home with me to raise pigs and farm the land. Oh, and by the way, we expanded the farm. We got over 1,000 piglets now. You'll be handling them yourself. Your choice." I was speechless. What kind of a choice was that? 1,000 pigs? By myself? The man was trying to kill me. Unsurprisingly, I chose to join Marcus's company. I'd thought it through. Raising pigs wasn't the worst thing in the world, but staying in a big city, trying to make it on my own, well, that opened up a whole new world of possibilities, didn't it? MC Sledgehammer. And you know what? Ever since I started, the company's profits have soared. We're selling more excavators than ever, and the business is expanding like crazy. My current title is Client Relations and Closing Specialist. It's a position Marcus created just for me. My pay grade is K5, same as a department manager. The salary is $150,000 a year plus commission. Full benefits, generous 401k matching. No clocking in, flexible hours. My main duty is simple. When a salesperson brings a client to the office to negotiate a deal or sign a contract, I just have to be in the room. As long as I'm there, the deal closes successfully 99% of the time. Of course, I've always been skeptical about all this metaphysical stuff. I think the company's success is due to everyone's hard work. But reality keeps slapping me in the face, proving it again and again. Leo, right? You are a walking, talking money magnet. The story begins Chicago. Apex Industrial Headquarters. In a large conference room on the 5th floor of the main office building, the portly CEO, Marcus Thorne, sat at the head of the table. Below him, all 50-plus members of the sales department sat bolt upright. Marcus cleared his throat and scanned the room. Ahem, are all my rock stars here? His executive assistant leaned in with a tablet. Boss, everyone from sales is accounted for. Is the good luck charm here? Marcus asked. Yeah, he's asleep over there. The assistant pointed to a handsome young man slumped over a desk by the window in the 3rd row, snoring softly. Marcus looked over, and instead of getting angry, a fond smile spread across his face. Go put a jacket over him. We can't have our mascot catching a cold. With that, Marcus shrugged off his own expensive blazer. The assistant nodded, took the blazer, walked over, and gently draped it over Leo Wright's shoulders. Then, Marcus deliberately lowered his voice, as if afraid of waking Leo. All right, I've called this meeting for 3 announcements. First thing, yesterday, someone tried to sign a contract with a client at a massage parlor without bringing Leo along, and things went sideways. As he spoke, Marcus's voice started to rise. They had the damn bad luck to get caught in a police sting. That major client is still sitting in a holding cell. Needless to say, that deal is dead. We're talking about a 40-unit order for our largest excavators. The angrier Marcus got, the louder he became. He slammed his hand on the table and glared at a burly man in the front row. Mike Sullivan, you dumb son of a bitch, he roared. Get on your feet and tell everyone what you did. The large man, Mike, shakily got to his feet. He pulled out a piece of paper and began reading from it like a monk chanting a sutra. To my respected boss, to my esteemed colleagues in the sales department, and to the venerable Leo, I acknowledge that what happened yesterday was my mistake. I was in a hurry and forgot to call Leo. Without Leo there to stabilize the situation, the signing went off the rails. I swear I will never make such a rookie mistake again. I'm sorry. After finishing, Mike bowed, once to Marcus and once to the sleeping Leo. Marcus's expression softened. He waved a hand. Sit down. Don't let it happen again. He scanned the room again, repeating his old mantra. You all have to remember this. Whenever you're closing a deal or signing a contract, you must, and I mean must, bring Leo with you. That is the ironclad rule of this department. You hear me? Everyone nodded like bobbleheads. Marcus cleared his throat. Now, for the second announcement. As you know, our company is growing and business is booming. To facilitate our global expansion, I've decided to transfer our current director of sales, Alex Dean, to oversee our international operations. We're going to sell Apex excavators to the entire world. Alex had to leave in a hurry. He's already on a plane. We'll owe him a farewell party. As for his position as sales director, it will be temporarily filled by the newcomer, Chadwick Preston. Let's all give our new sales director a warm welcome. As soon as he finished, a man with sharp, rat-like features stood up from the crowd. Marcus led the applause. The rest of the team followed with a sparse, unenthusiastic smattering of claps. At Marcus's invitation, Chadwick walked up to the stage and introduced himself with oozing pride. My name is Chadwick Preston. I graduated magna cum laude from an Ivy League university. 3 years ago, I went to MIT to pursue my master's in business analytics at the Sloan School of Management. My academic performance was outstanding. I am confident that under my leadership, the sales department will reach even greater heights. He finished and looked out at the audience, expecting a thunderous ovation. But the applause he was waiting for never came. Looking out, Chadwick saw his new colleagues staring blankly at him. Some were already scrolling through their phones. Others were chatting amongst themselves. A few were even eating breakfast, and one, of course, was still fast asleep. Chadwick's mouth twitched, and his face turned a visible shade of green. It seems the employees at this company have no respect. The CEO, Marcus, laughed awkwardly and tried to smooth things over. Hey, where's the applause? Only then did the team reluctantly start clapping again. Clap, 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 clap. Chadwick forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. It seems you all aren't quite sold on me yet. But rest assured, I will earn your admiration with actual results. With that, he stepped down. Marcus cleared a lump from his throat and continued. And now, for the third and final announcement. My blood pressure has been through the roof lately. I've decided I'm going on a month-long silent retreat in the mountains to detox and get my health back on track. During this time, my phone will probably be off. All sales department matters will be under the full authority of Director Preston. That's the deal. Meeting adjourned. Back in the sales department office, Leo rubbed his sleepy eyes, fired up his computer, and prepared to pick out a movie. Hey, Leo, got you a boba? At the next desk, Mike Sullivan cheerfully handed him a plastic cup. It's from that new place, Badger Brews. Supposed to be good. Thanks. Leo stabbed the straw through the lid and started slurping it down. After a few loud gulps, he asked, Hey, Mike, what did the boss say in the meeting? I was out cold the whole time. He covered 3 things, Mike replied. 3? That many. Leo was surprised. Mike filled him in on everything, point by point. After hearing it all, Leo suddenly asked, What's that new sales director's name again? Mike scratched his head, thinking hard. Something with AC, I think. Chad. What was it? Chadwick Preston, said Jenna Carter, the beautiful colleague at the desk to his left, chiming in. Chadwick? Preston? That name. Leo scratched his head, trailing off. I know, right? Jenna was the straightforward type who said whatever was on her mind. Dabbing a brush on her fingernails, she whispered, I don't know what the boss was thinking, hiring a guy with a name that just screams bad luck. Chadwick. Sound like a total tool. I have a feeling he's going to clash with your money-making vibes. Leo, she added. You should probably keep your distance. Her comments sparked a full-blown water cooler session. A few other colleagues gathered around. Yeah, I don't like the sound of his name either. The boss was probably impressed by his resume. Didn't he say he has a master's from MIT's business school? So he's one of those overseas grads. Overseas, undersea, I don't care if he's the wise old turtle from that Disney movie. I'm not impressed. I only trust Leo. Leo's the only one who can lead us to the promised land of fat commission checks. Just then, Mike Sullivan spoke up. During the meeting, I got a good look at his face. The guy's got shifty eyes and a weaselly look. Doesn't seem like a good person. While the boss is away, we should all just keep our heads down and be careful, he advised. If anything happens, we wait for Marcus to get back and report it then. The other colleagues nodded in agreement. Suddenly, boss is coming, one of them hissed. In the next second, the group scattered like birds, rushing back to their desks. They furrowed their brows at their computer screens. They typed furiously on their keyboards. They pulled out their phones, dialed non-existent numbers, and spoke in concerned tones, as if handling matters of national security. It looked as though the world would end if they stopped working for even a second. The sight of his employees working so diligently pleased Marcus Thorne immensely as he walked into the office. He strolled through the aisles with his hands clasped behind his back, his large belly leading the way. Trailing him was Chadwick Preston. Before long, the two of them arrived at Leo's desk. Leo was watching a movie. The title was Nuke, All, Retribution. He wasn't even using headphones. The sound was blasting from his computer speakers. You clearly dropped 2 nukes, but you're only paying me for 1? Are you trying to screw me over? You son of a bitch. Honestly, the volume was pretty loud. Chadwick's face soured. Maybe he wanted to assert his authority, or maybe he wanted to impress Marcus. He tapped Leo on the shoulder. Why are you watching a movie during work hours? He demanded. Because I have nothing else to do, Leo replied, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Chadwick was speechless. He turned to Marcus, a tattletale look on his face. But Marcus just waved a dismissive hand and chuckled. I gave Leo special permission to watch movies at work. Hearing this, Leo looked smug. He suddenly asked, Hey boss, I hear you're leaving? Where are you going? Your old boss is heading into the mountains for a little detox retreat. Get this old body back in shape. Marcus slapped his big belly, which jiggled like a seal. Look at this thing. It's like I'm pregnant with twins. My doctor said if I don't lose some weight, they'll have to cut me in half to fit me in the cremator. Leo nodded. So how long will you be gone? Marcus held up one finger. A month. Leo's face fell. But you promised me 2 days ago you'd take me to Miami to party with some models. Marcus rubbed his hands together apologetically. We can go as soon as I get back. It'll be even better. Here, take this. Consider it my apology for breaking my promise. Marcus handed him an envelope. Leo opened it right there. A wide grin spread across his face. Thanks, boss. Next, Marcus made introductions. Leo, this is our new director of sales, Chadwick Preston. Director Preston, This is our client relations and closing specialist, Leo, right? Why don't you two get acquainted? The implication was obvious. Marcus wanted Chadwick to look out for Leo, to make sure he was taken care of. Chadwick was no fool. He understood perfectly. He dropped his pretentious air, forced a smile, and extended a hand. Leo, nice to meet you. Leo, always polite, smiled, nodded, and shook his hand. Marcus chatted with Leo for a few more minutes. Just before he left, he gave one final instruction. Leo, while I'm gone, the department's performance is all on you, my man. Leo nodded. Got it. Mission accepted. This exchange did not sit well with Chadwick. What does that mean? It's all on him? Shouldn't the sales department's performance be on me? The sales director? The displeasure on his face deepened. After Marcus and Chadwick left the office, a few colleagues immediately flocked to Leo's desk to gossip. The main topic of conversation was how much money was in the envelope from the boss. Leo just grinned and held up 2 fingers. The colleagues' eyes went wide with envy. I'm so jealous. $2,000. That's more than I make in a week. The boss is so good to Leo. He's always giving him cash. Well, Leo is our department's good luck charm. Of course the boss has to treat him well. Hey, Leo, Mike Sullivan said, sidling up and rubbing his hands together with a fawning look. You, got any plans this afternoon? Leo knew exactly what he was after. About a blind date this afternoon. Can't you reschedule with your client? I'm free tomorrow morning. Mike looked troubled. Tomorrow's probably too late. I had a buddy at the county jail check for me. The client who got arrested gets released this afternoon. I was planning to meet him at the gate, explain everything, and try to get his forgiveness. I think this might be my last shot. He looked at Leo with pleading eyes. Come on, Leo, help me out. If I sign this deal, I'll be the top salesman of the month. His plea prompted a few other colleagues to start stirring the pot. Leo, don't help him. This guy is the top salesman every month. He can miss one. Leo, he didn't take you to meet the client yesterday. That means he doesn't believe in your powers. You have to punish him for that. Hearing this, Mike shot them a wounded look. Go on, get out of here. What are you trying to start? To Leo, he added, this is a huge order, 100 excavators. If I land it, I'll make sure you all get a piece of the action. But Leo just scratched his head, looking conflicted. But I really do have to go on this blind date this afternoon. I'm not making it up. Mike's voice grew urgent. What do you need a blind date for? With your looks, you could have any girl you want. If you're that desperate, I'll find someone for you. Who? Leo and all the other colleagues asked in unison, turning to stare at Mike, waiting for his answer. Mike froze. He'd spoken too soon. Shit. His eyes darted around the room before landing on Jenna Carter. He pointed at her and said to Leo, what about Jenna? I think you two would make a great couple. If you're up for it, I'll be the matchmaker. Leo was speechless. The colleagues all had their popcorn out. Go to hell. You and your big mouth. Jenna, her face flushing red, delivered a swift, powerful kick to Mike's leg. The heel of her shoe was as thin as a chopstick, and it jabbed right into his thigh. Mike yelped and shot into the air like a spring-loaded tomcat, hopping around in pain. Sorry, Mike. I really can't make it this afternoon, Leo said. I have to meet this girl. The boss set it up for me a few days ago. It would be rude not to go. At this, a complex, almost imperceptible emotion flickered across Jenna's face. The surrounding colleagues, however, were all in on the gossip. Leo, who's the girl? Is it the boss's daughter? Or maybe a relative? Come on, just tell us. Leo just chuckled. It's a secret. Mike, on the other hand, seemed to have lost all interest in the gossip. He slumped into his chair, eyes vacant, and muttered to himself, It's over, it's over. My 100 excavator deal. I've been working on this for 6 months. God, I'm such an idiot. He slapped himself across the face, regretting yesterday's mistake. Leo watched him, feeling a bit sorry for him. He picked up the potted cactus from his desk and pushed it into Mike's hands. Here, you can borrow Spike for the afternoon. This cactus was Leo's personal project, grown from a seedling. According to their colleagues, Spike also had money-attracting properties. Sometimes multiple salespeople had client meetings at the same time, and Leo couldn't possibly attend all of them. That's when Spike came in handy, acting as Leo's surrogate. Someone had even done the math. If you had Spike on the table during a client meeting, the closing rate was about 80%. While not as good as Leo's 99% success rate, it was still remarkably effective. There was another theory floating around the office, too. If Leo and Spike appeared together, it would often trigger a legendary phenomenon, a deal explosion. For example, a client who originally planned to buy 10 excavators would, during the signing, suddenly decide to double or even triple the order. This move was jokingly called the right cactus synergy. However, the synergy was a last resort, not to be used lightly. After unleashing this ultimate move, Leo's money-attracting abilities would enter a cool-down period for several days. In short, the colleagues had already compiled a very detailed manual on the proper use of Leo right. Right now, looking at the cactus in his hands, Mike felt a little better. Okay, this could work. Seeing the cactus is like seeing the man himself. Thanks, Leo. I'm heading out. Wait for my good news. With that, Mike happily scurried off, cradling the cactus. 1 o'clock that afternoon, outside the Cook County Department of Corrections, an Audi A6L pulled up to the curb. The door opened, and the mountain-like Mike Sullivan squeezed himself out, holding a cactus. He leaned against the car, a cigarette dangling from his lips, and waited. A little while later, the main gate of the jail creaked open. A thin, tall, middle-aged man was escorted out by 2 corrections officers. Gary Fisher, we hope that when you walk out of here, you'll turn over a new leaf and become a productive member of society. No more soliciting prostitutes. It's shameful. Think of your family. One of the officers said righteously. Yes, yes, officers. It'll never happen again. Gary Fisher nodded repeatedly, his attitude humble and sincere. The 2 officers walked back inside and shut the heavy iron gate. The moment it closed, Gary's face twisted into a sneer. Who the hell are you 2 to lecture me? A man who doesn't solicit isn't a real man. I bet you 2 have done it. And even if you haven't, you've definitely thought about it. Stop acting so high and mighty. The next second, the gate swung open again. What did you just say? Got the guts to say it again. An officer poked his head out. Gary froze. Officers, he was talking to me, Mike said, seizing the opportunity to step in. Gary paused, turning to look. You motherf. It's you. Recognizing the man, Gary's teeth clenched. The events of the previous night at the massage parlor came flooding back. When the police had kicked in the door during the raid, this bastard Mike had covered his face and bolted. 8 cops couldn't stop him. Mike had escaped, but Gary had been put through hell. The cops, embarrassed that Mike got away, took their frustrations out on him. They'd cuffed him to a radiator, given him a friendly chat, and used a phone book on his chest as a punching bag. A whole menu of ways to vent their anger. You've got some nerve showing your face here, Gary growled, rolling up his sleeves and striding menacingly toward Mike. Mike, in contrast, stood perfectly still, holding the cactus. If beating me up will make you feel better, then go ahead. Damn right I'm going to beat you up. Screw you. Gary launched a flying kick. Mike, who had intended to stand there and take it, couldn't fight his instincts. With a twist of his hips, he dodged. His dodge spelled disaster for Gary. The kick missed its mark, sending Gary flying into a flower bed, where he landed face first in the dirt. You dare to dodge? Gary was furious. Okay, I won't dodge this time. Go ahead, kick me. Mike stood ramrod straight again, even closing his eyes. Gary believed him. He scrambled out of the flower bed and launched another flying kick at Mike. Unsurprisingly, Mike dodged again. Gary once again sailed past him and landed in the flower bed on the other side. You son of a bitch. Gary was absolutely livid. Suddenly, he clutched his chest, his face contorted in pain. His eyes bulged, and his lips turned pale. He tried to speak, but only garbled sounds came out. Pills, 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 thrill, kills, Mike replied instinctively. But he quickly realized something was seriously wrong with Gary. He rushed over and dragged him out of the flower bed. Gary, what's wrong? Pills, pills, pills. Gary gasped painfully. Mike understood now. Where are they? At home. Well, that's no help. Mike's eyes widened. It's my heart. Stress-induced attack. Gary managed to force out a complete sentence. Do you know acupuncture? A couple of needles might save me. Mike nodded. I know a little. I learned some pressure points back in the day. But I don't have any needles. As soon as he said it, both men's eyes fell on the cactus, which was covered in sharp spines. Are you sure? Mike asked, a silent understanding passing between them. Positive. Gary nodded grimly. Mike quickly snapped off one of the sharpest spines from the cactus and, following Gary's directions, inserted it into a pressure point on his chest. Gary seemed to feel better. Keep going. Don't stop. Mike did as he was told, breaking off another spine and jabbing it into him. 15 minutes later, Gary was covered in so many spines he looked like a porcupine. The cactus was completely bald. Gary sat up, breathing heavily. All right, you saved my life. I'll let this go. Mike nodded gratefully, then shamelessly asked, so, about that 100 excavator deal. Are we still on? Gary narrowed his eyes and just stared at Mike in silence. Mike started to feel his skin crawl. If you don't want to sign, that's fine. I'll get going. You take care. In truth, Mike didn't have much hope for the deal anymore. He was just taking a long shot. But just as he turned to leave, Gary called out to him. Who said I wasn't signing? I've decided. On top of the original 40 excavators, I'm adding another 10. Mike's eyes nearly popped out of his head. 50 excavators. That was a massive deal. Over 10 million in sales. The commission on that would be insane. He could coast for the rest of the year. But, Gary said with a sly smile, we only got to the first half of our entertainment yesterday. You owe me. Mike grinned from ear to ear, slapping his chest. Say no more. I'll take care of everything tonight. Back at the Apex Industrial Sales office, Leo was watching a movie. A few minutes later, Mike Sullivan walked in, looking like he was walking on air. Leo, it's done, he beamed. Thanks for lending me Spike. He handed the cactus back. Leo nodded. Glad it worked out. Then his eyes widened. Hey, why a spike ball? He stared at the now spineless cactus. Where did his spines go? Mike's face turned red as he explained what had happened. After hearing the story, Leo sighed. All right, whatever. I'm sure Spike's spines will grow back. Leo carefully placed the cactus back on his desk and gave it a little water. Seeing that Leo wasn't mad, Mike breathed a sigh of relief. He stealthily pulled out an envelope and slipped it into Leo's hand. Leo, just a little something to show my appreciation. According to rule number 3 of the official Leo Wright playbook, after a successful signing, giving Leo a cash bonus will increase the success rate of subsequent deals by 10 to 20%. The exact percentage depends on the size of the bonus. You don't have to do that, Leo said, but his hands moved quickly to pocket the envelope. By the way, Leo, how was the blind date? Mike asked. Leo sighed, a look of annoyance on his face. Ugh, she's from some old money family in the Hamptons. Insisted I'd have to sign a prenup and basically marry into her family. I said no. Mike slapped his thigh in regret. Leo, are you crazy? Those Hamptons people are loaded. If you married into that family, you'd be set for life. But I like my food salty and my drink sweet, Leo joked back. Mike burst out laughing, then quickly changed his tune to match Leo's. Actually, you're right. You know what they say, never plow another man's field. Being a house husband is no good. No matter how much money her family has, it's not yours. Leo nodded solemnly. My thoughts exactly. A moment later, Mike quietly opened a shared Google Doc titled The Official Leo Wright Playbook and added a new entry. Rule number 21. Stabbing a client with spike spines has a chance to trigger a deal explosion. After saving his edit, Mike proudly dropped the link to the updated document into the Apex Sales Wolfpack Slack channel. He then typed furiously at channel, I've updated the Leo Wright Playbook. Everyone take a look. The Slack channel immediately lit up. Got it. Gotta try this next time. This is insane. Spike can be used like that. That's pretty wild. Are we sure stabbing a client with cactus spines won't get us arrested? Mike Sullivan. Don't know about arrested, but I can confirm it gets you a bigger deal. And Mike Sullivan. Spill it. How big was the deal today? Mike Sullivan. Nothing major, just big enough to make me top salesman of the month. Smirk underscore emoji. Make an GIF. And Mike Sullivan. You better be buying dinner. Mike Sullivan, you got it. Tonight at 7, Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse. Be there. Link to restaurant. A moment later, Jenna Carter posted in the channel. Guys, Chadwick just posted in the main sales channel. He's also treating everyone to dinner tonight. What do we do? Mike Sullivan. My restaurant is better. Come to mine. I don't know, that feels wrong. He's the sales director, after all. It's his first week. If we don't show, it'll look bad. I'll do whatever Leo does. Following Leo is never the wrong move. Yeah, what Leo said. At Leo Wright, you there? A second later. Leo Wright. I'm in the mood for steak. As soon as he posted, the team's attitude did a complete 180. Who the hell is Chadwick Preston anyway? We don't have to kiss his ass. We're with Leo. We're eating steak tonight. Seconded. Seconded +1. Seconded +10086. The next day, 9:00 a.m. Apex Industrial Headquarters. 5th floor. Chadwick Preston stood by the time clock at the entrance to the sales department office. His face was dark, like someone owed him $1 million. Last night, he had booked a massive private room at a fancy restaurant and ordered 5 tables worth of food to treat the entire 50-plus person sales team. He had planned to use the dinner to bridge the gap between management and employees, deliver some pompous speeches, and receive some well-deserved ass-kissing. He was also hoping to recruit a few loyal minions. But while the dream was grand, the reality was brutal. The entire sales department, not a single person, showed up. Chadwick sat alone in that huge room until 10 o'clock at night. It was the most humiliating experience of his life. A total and utter disgrace. Even the security guard at the front desk could probably get more people to come to his party. Afterward, Chadwick learned from the head of the manufacturing department that every single person from sales had gone to Mike Sullivan's dinner instead. Chadwick was furious, and there would be consequences. So, first thing in the morning, he was here to check attendance. At 9:30 a.m., an employee finally arrived to clock in. It was a woman, curvy with long legs, wavy hair, rimless glasses, bright red lipstick, a white blouse, a pencil skirt, black stockings, and red high heels. She was stunning. Chadwick's eyes widened. He hadn't expected to find such a goddess in the sales department. Was she the boss's mistress? Beep. Jenna Carter clocked in. The machine chirped. Jenna Carter, is it? Chadwick said, deliberately flexing his authority. You're half an hour late. According to company policy, that's a $30 fine. Jenna couldn't help but argue back. Director Preston, there's no company policy about fines for being late. Chadwick sneered. If I say there is, there is. Jenna was taken aback, but decided not to argue further. As time went on, more employees trickled in to clock in. Chadwick noticed that they all looked groggy. It was obvious they'd had a lot to drink at last night's dinner. This made him even more annoyed. You won't come to your director's dinner, but you'll drink yourself stupid at some lowly salesman's party? Interesting. Very interesting. When the clock struck 11, the last member of the sales department arrived. Morning, Director Preston, Leo Wright said with a breezy wave, then walked nonchalantly into the office. He didn't even go near the time clock. He couldn't be bothered to even get a beep. Chadwick's face turned black. He took this as a direct challenge to his authority. What time is it? Chadwick stepped in front of Leo, blocking his path and pointing at his watch. 11. What about it? Leo didn't see the problem. Why didn't you clock in? Chadwick pressed. Because I don't have to. Who says? The boss. Chadwick's lip twitched, his expression growing darker by the second. The next moment, he strode into the office and announced in a harsh voice, Everyone, drop what you're doing. We're having a meeting right now. His announcement was met with a chorus of groans. Everyone started whispering amongst themselves. Didn't we just have a meeting yesterday? Why another one? I have a client meeting in an hour. This is so annoying. This guy is such a pain in the ass. I'm not going. Me neither. Screw him. For a moment, not a single person in the large office stood up. Chadwick felt his authority slipping away. Are you all treating my words like they're nothing? He said coldly. I'm going to the conference room now to wait for you. I'll give you 10 minutes. Anyone who doesn't show up will face the consequences. With that, he slammed the door and left. The colleagues in the office looked at each other, unsure what to do. Finally, all eyes turned to their leader, Leo Wright. I don't want to go. Leo mumbled through a mouthful of a hot breakfast burrito. I haven't finished this episode yet. That was all it took. The rest of the colleagues sat back down and went back to what they were doing. As far as they were concerned, as long as they followed Leo, they could probably blow up the company headquarters and the boss would just compliment them on a job well done. 10 minutes later, Chadwick burst back into the office. His face was twisted in a furious scowl. Do you people even recognize me as your sales director? Are you all trying to get fired? I'm the sales director appointed by the boss. The boss himself said that while he's away, I have full authority over the sales department. If you insist on defying me, then I have the right to fire every single one of you. This company will run just fine without you. If you want to work, then work. If not, then get the hell out. Chadwick's words were incredibly insulting. An unnerving silence fell over the office. Everyone glared at him. The air crackled with tension. Just then, slam. Leo Wright slammed his hand on his desk and shot to his feet. He glared at Chadwick, his eyes burning with fury. That single action was like a match to a powder keg, igniting the anger in all his colleagues. He's here. The call to arms. The revolution has begun. It's happening. Mike Sullivan, overcome with emotion, let out a battle cry. You son of a bitch. It's time to turn the tables. Chadwick panicked. He tried to sound tough. What? What are you all doing? You wouldn't dare hit me, would you? I'll have you know I have a black belt in Taekwondo. As soon as he said it, a black belt? Huh. I'll cut you into 8 pieces. Mike Sullivan sneered. He rolled up his sleeves, revealing massive, muscular arms, and cracked his knuckles loudly. You know what I did before I got into sales? Sold steroids. Chadwick shot back. I was a bouncer. Chadwick froze. With Mike leading the charge, the other colleagues felt emboldened. One person grabbed a heavy-duty stapler. Another moved to cover the security camera. Someone else locked the door, and another pulled the blinds shut. The team worked with the seamless coordination of a special ops unit, a truly impressive sight. As if on cue, the speakers on Leo's desk, which were still on, started blasting the high-energy theme music from Fight Club. The music fueled the atmosphere, making the scene feel even more intense. Chadwick was genuinely terrified. He backed away slowly. You all, You need to calm down. Everyone just be calm. Calm my ass. Mike launched a picture-perfect flying kick, soaring at least 6 feet into the air. He was clearly not an ordinary man. But just then, BZZ, there's a little B, open up your phone for me. BZZ. It was Leo's custom ringtone. Hold on. It's the boss. Leo's voice cut through the tension. His words came at a terrible time for Mike. There's no such thing as reversing a flying kick midair. The next second, with a reluctant grunt, he followed through and sent Chadwick flying across the room. Don't ask. The brakes failed. Hello, boss. Uh-huh. Yes, okay. I understand. Leo hung up. The colleagues waited with bated breath. The boss wants us to go to the meeting, Leo said calmly. A collective sigh of disappointment rippled through the office. So close, yet so far. Mike looked utterly dejected. Damn it, I kicked him too soon. He stared helplessly at Chadwick, who was groaning in pain on the floor. Leo, however, walked over and pulled Chadwick to his feet. He smoothly covered for Mike. Director Preston, Mike has a bit of a short fuse. I hope you won't hold that kick against him. Are you still able to hold the meeting? Chadwick, wincing in pain, tried to play it cool. It's just a scratch. Let's have the meeting. Leo nodded and led the way out of the office. The rest of the team filed out behind him, heading toward the conference room. In the large conference room, Chadwick sat at the head of the table, a smug look on his face. He knew that Marcus Thorne calling Leo at that exact moment was a clear sign of support for him. And with the boss backing him up, what did he have to fear? He reverted to his arrogant demeanor, slamming his hand on the table. You people are completely out of control. I understand that as salespeople, your hours are flexible, but you don't even follow the most basic company rules. This morning, I stood by the time clock and witnessed it myself. All 53 of you were late. One of you even had the audacity to walk right past me without clocking in. It's a blatant show of disrespect. I'd advise some of you not to just occupy a position without doing any real work. As he spoke, his eyes darted toward Leo. Down in the audience, Mike leaned over to Leo and whispered, "Who's he talking about?" Himself, probably. Leo mumbled back through a mouthful of potato chips. Well, at least he's self-aware. Mike nodded in agreement, then reached into Leo's bag of chips and grabbed a handful. Give me some, I'm starving. Sure, Leo replied. The meeting dragged on until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The entire time, Chadwick just bragged about how brilliant he was during his time studying abroad, how many influential foreigners he knew, and how much better everything was overseas. The colleagues were all on the verge of nausea. This guy's been kneeling for so long he's forgotten how to stand. After the meeting, Chadwick posted a file in the Apex Sales main Slack channel titled Today's Tardiness Fines. The document meticulously listed each employee, how many minutes they were late, and the corresponding amount to be deducted from their paychecks. He instructed everyone to go to the finance department to settle their fines. The colleagues in the office saw the message and immediately gathered in small groups to discuss it. Seriously? He's actually fining us. I got docked $40. Ugh, that's 2 boba teas. They got me for 70. There goes a pack of smokes. Leo, I don't see your name on the list. How much did you get fined? Someone from the crowd asked. I didn't get fined, Leo replied. Looks like Preston doesn't dare to mess with you, Jenna said with a hint of envy. I was marked as absent, Leo said, pointing to a private message on his screen from Chadwick in their internal chat software. The message read, I almost forgot about you. Since you didn't clock in this morning, you're marked as absent for the day. At a fine equivalent to 3 days' pay. I've already sent the penalty notice to finance. Please go and take care of it. After reading the message, the colleagues all gasped. How many guts did this Chadwick guy eat? He even dares to mess with our mascot. Isn't he afraid the boss will have his head? Everyone knows Leo doesn't have a clock in. Just then, Mike, who had been frowning in thought, suddenly spoke up. According to rule number 5 of the official Leo Wright playbook, if Leo suffers an unjustified financial loss, his deal closing luck for the day will decrease. For every $100 lost, his success rate drops by 1%. Hearing this, Jenna was the first to realize the gravity of the situation. She pulled out her calculator and started tapping away. Okay, let's see. Leo's base salary is $150K a year, which is about $625 a day. A 3-day pay penalty is $1,875. That means, according to rule number 5, Leo's deal closing success rate for today has dropped by almost 19%. It's below 80% now. The colleagues' eyes went wide. The next second, without a word, they all picked up their phones and began canceling their client meetings and contract signings for the day. The office filled with the sound of simultaneous phone calls. Hey, Mr. Johnson, something urgent came up today. Do you think we could? Is this Steve? Yeah, my grandma's getting married today. Can we reschedule? Hi, Mr. Davis, what a coincidence. It's my son's 80th birthday today. But one crisis was quickly followed by another. Guys, check the main channel. Preston just posted another file, Jenna said, clicking it open. Everyone crowded around her screen to look. It was a file titled Office Cleaning Duty Roster. It detailed a month-long cleaning schedule. Everyone was assigned tasks, and there were a lot of them. Already on edge, the team was pushed over the limit by this new provocation. They stopped whispering and started yelling out loud. Is Chadwick a freaking moron? He wants us, the top salespeople, to be janitors? Doesn't the company have a dedicated cleaning crew for the office building? He's just trying to screw with us. If he pushes me any further, I swear I'll drive an excavator out of the workshop and drop the bucket right on his head. You drive, I'll dig the hole. I'll handle the burial. We got the excavators right here. If we're going to do it, we should use the biggest one. Let's get the mining excavator. Mike roared, a murderous look in his eyes. This bastard Chadwick is targeting me. Oh, what makes you say that? A colleague asked. Mike pointed to a line in the cleaning roster. This son of a bitch assigned me to clean the bathrooms. For a whole month. This is clearly revenge for that kick. What else could it be? The colleagues burst out laughing. Mike looked at Leo with pleading eyes. Leo, can you please call the boss? Get him to fire Chadwick. If we let this asshole continue his reign of terror, the company's sales are going to tank. We're salespeople, for God's sake. We don't have time to be janitors. His plea was echoed by the others, including Jenna. Please, Leo. Leo, the boss listens to you. If you say the word, this will all be over. When Alex Dean was here, the office was so harmonious. Now, with Chadwick, it's only been 2 days and the place is already a toxic mess. We can't let him stay. Leo, I have a golden robe here. Want to try it on? The colleagues pleaded with him, one after another. Leo took a deep breath and silently pulled out his phone. I'll try. The office immediately fell silent. Everyone watched as Leo dialed Marcus Thorne. Beep, beep, beep. The number you have dialed is not in service. Please try again later. Leo hung up and shrugged. No answer. The glimmer of hope on the colleagues' faces vanished. They looked as miserable as someone who had just accidentally taken on a 60-year mortgage and was already worrying about next month's payment. In the sales director's office, which had previously belonged to Alex Dean, Chadwick had made some drastic changes. The large calligraphy on the wall that read Excavator King had been replaced with a generic motivational poster that said, hard work pays off. The dozens of exquisitely detailed excavator models that used to line the shelves for client viewings had been sold for scrap. The empty space was now filled with framed photos from Chadwick's time studying abroad. The perpetual motion machine on the desk had been replaced with a small turtle in a tank, as if he wanted to use the turtle to flaunt his overseas and superior status. Chadwick leaned back in his large chair, propped his feet on the desk, laced his fingers over his stomach, and stared smugly at the ceiling. He was reliving the meeting, picturing himself as the powerful, commanding figure who had put those arrogant salespeople in their place. He believed he had already won a decisive victory, fining them for being late and assigning them cleaning duties, a 1-2 punch that had knocked them flat. Oomph. A bunch of disorganized rabble thinks they can challenge me, he muttered to himself. They have no idea who they're dealing with. After his moment of self-congratulation, Chadwick went to the HR department and requested the personnel files for everyone in the sales department. These internal files were incredibly detailed, containing everything from age and years of service to job level, performance scores, salary, and marital status. Chadwick planned to study his new underlings to see if he could find a few to turn into his personal lackeys. After all, he was a commander without an army, and that wouldn't do. After flipping through several files, Chadwick was unimpressed. The employees were either incompetent or too old. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. One file caught his interest. Name, Jenna Carter, age, 27 years of service. 4 position, sales elite job level. K4 performance score, 80 out of 100 compensation. $5,000 per month base plus 0. 5% commission marital status. Single, not dating phone number. 977-759-745. Chadwick's gaze, like that of a hungry wolf, was fixed on Jenna Carter's headshot in the file. A girl this beautiful doesn't even have a boyfriend. He printed a copy of her file and tucked it away in his desk drawer. He continued flipping through the personnel files. His eyes landed on Mike Sullivan's. Name, Mike Sullivan, age, 36 years of service. 12 position, senior sales executive job level. K5 performance score, 90 out of 100 compensation, $8,000 per month base plus 1% commission marital status. Married phone number, 977-759-745. Chadwick's face darkened. The humiliation of last night's dinner, getting kicked across the office today. It was all this guy. I need to find a reason to fire this troublemaker. With that thought, he moved on to the next file. Name, Leo, right age, 25 years of service, 2 position, client relations, and closing specialist job level. K5 performance score, 100 out of 100 compensation, $50,000 per month base, plus 2% commission marital status. Single phone number, 977-759-745. Chadwick read through the file, line by line, his shock growing with each detail. A K5 level after only 2 years. Everyone knew that K5 was on par with a department manager. Furthermore, Leo's compensation was astronomical. A $50,000 monthly base salary, 2% commission. It was unheard of. Even he, the almighty sales director, didn't make that much. Was there no justice in the world? His eyes fell to the last line of the file. Note: this individual is a special talent with an extraordinary ability to attract wealth. His astrological chart is highly compatible with the CEO's. When he is present during client negotiations or contract signings, the success rate is as high as 99%. Superstitious nonsense. Utterly ridiculous. Chadwick scoffed. Why are these new age CEOs so obsessed with this kind of stuff? For the cost of keeping this freeloader around, you could buy a forest of money trees. Just then his phone buzzed. It was his mistress. Chadwick cleared his throat and answered in a deliberately deep voice. Hello, babe, what's up? A sweet, pouting voice came from the other end. Honey, I miss you. Chadwick lapped it up. I'm at work right now. I'll see you tonight. But I'm so bored. I wish I had a job. I miss working. I don't want to be a kept woman anymore, his mistress whined. Do you really want to work? Chadwick asked suddenly. I mean, I'd like to, she cooed, but I want a job with good pay, not much work, and a short commute. I doubt a job like that even exists. Hearing this, an idea sparked in Chadwick's mind. He looked at Leo's file, his eyes gleaming. You'd be surprised. A job like that actually does exist. Really? Tell me about the pay, she urged. $50,000 base salary. A month, Chadwick said, dropping the bomb. What? His mistress's eyes went wide. Are you being scammed? Chadwick smirked. I'm a sales director of this company. You think I wouldn't know? On top of the $50,000 base, there's a 2% commission, full benefits, and a 401k. Flexible hours, no clocking in. Come and go as you please. A long gasp came from the other end of the line. The next second, she squealed, Honey, I want that job. Chadwick laughed. Don't worry, it'll be yours soon enough. His mistress caught the implication. You mean someone's already doing it? Are you just messing with me? Sensing her annoyance, Chadwick quickly soothed her. Babe, don't be angry. This guy has some kind of connection to the boss. I can't just fire him outright. Listen, I have a plan. I'll call you back. He hung up and went straight to the HR department to see the manager, Linda Wallace. Linda, I need to hire someone. Linda looked thoughtful. Director Preston, as far as I know, the sales department isn't looking for new hires right now. Chadwick recited his prepared excuse. We don't need more salespeople, but we do need a sales admin assistant. You know how it is in the sales department. No one has time to organize files and contracts. I want to bring someone in specifically for that. Linda hesitated. We don't have a sales admin assistant position in the company. I need to get approval from a boss, or at least his authorization. Chadwick sneered. Linda, I think I need to remind you of something. The boss is on a silent retreat in the mountains. He won't be back for at least a few months. Before he left, he told me that in his absence, I have full authority over all matters in the sales department. That includes hiring and firing. He then shifted his tone, adding a threat. Linda, if your obstruction prevents me from doing my job, you'll be the one held responsible. That did it. Linda relented. She could see this guy was trouble, and she didn't want to pick a fight with a director over a minor position. All right then, send me the job description, and I'll post it online. But Chadwick just smiled thinly. No need to trouble yourself, Linda. I already have a candidate. I'll bring her in tomorrow. You could just interview her to make it official. Linda just said, oh. The next day, 9:00 a.m., sales department office. Having learned their lesson from the previous day, the colleagues all arrived early to clock in to avoid getting fined. Leo also came in early, though he didn't clock in. The reason for his early arrival was that Jenna had told him yesterday that a very important client would be visiting the company that morning. Leo was a professional. He knew when it was time to step up. At 9:30, Chadwick walked into the office with a woman who was heavily made up and dressed in flashy clothes. Everyone, Put down what you're doing for a moment. This is our new colleague. Her name is Tiffany Banks. Let's give her a warm welcome. The colleagues knew instantly that Chadwick was up to something again. The applause for Tiffany was practically non-existent. Chadwick didn't seem to care. He led Tiffany straight to Leo's desk and said with a fake smile, "Leo, you're always complaining you have nothing to do. I'm putting Tiffany under your wing. Show her the ropes." Leo shook his head. "Her perfume is too strong. It's giving me a headache. I don't want to." As soon as he said it, Chadwick's face darkened, looking like someone owed him $1 million. Tiffany tugged on Chadwick's sleeve and whined, "Honey, look at him." Ahem. Chadwick coughed loudly to silence her. Tiffany quickly realized her mistake and let go of Chadwick's sleeve, putting some distance between them. But the colleagues weren't stupid. They immediately sensed that something was off between the two. Looks of amusement and gossip spread across their faces. "I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to train her or not?" Chadwick said, trying to pressure him. Leo met his gaze head-on. "You can ask me 100 times, and the answer will still be no. Now, please move. I'm trying to watch my show." With that, Leo nonchalantly opened Netflix on his computer. Chadwick was left standing there, completely humiliated. The atmosphere grew tense. Just then, Mike Sullivan stepped in with a hearty laugh. "Hey, Director Preston, why don't I train her? I'm pretty familiar with the sales process." He leaned in close to Chadwick and whispered, "Director, about that kick yesterday, please don't take it personally. It was an accident. Let me buy you dinner tonight to apologize." Chadwick, surprised at first, gave a silent nod. He then announced, "Mike, I expect you to train Tiffany well. She's your responsibility now." Mike nodded eagerly. "You can count on me." Chadwick then set up Tiffany's desk at the empty spot to Mike's right and even helped her get settled in. The desk layout on this row from left to right, wall empty desk, another colleague, Jenna Carter, Leo, right, Mike Sullivan, Tiffany Banks aisle. After Tiffany's desk was set up, Chadwick suddenly said, "Tiffany, come with me for a moment." "Okay, Director Preston." As soon as the two left the office, the colleagues swarmed around Mike like a tidal wave, the gossip starting immediately. "I thought we weren't hiring anyone new. Didn't the boss say last year that there would be a hiring freeze for the next 3 years? He's the sales director. He can probably hire whoever he wants. Did you guys notice? Something's definitely up with Chadwick and that new girl, Tiffany. They absolutely have a thing going on. She's probably his mistress. I'll ask Linda in HR about it later." After a while, Jenna turned her attention to Mike. "Mike, why did you volunteer to train her? You're not thinking of becoming a traitor, are you?" She looked at him with a disdainful sneer. Her accusation spurred the other colleagues to join in, forming a united front against him. Mike looked innocent. "Come on, guys. Am I that kind of person?" In unison, the colleagues replied yes. Mike was speechless. "I'm trying to gain the enemy's trust. I'm going undercover. On a small scale, you could call infiltration. On a larger scale," he declared grandly, "I am embedding myself in the enemy's camp to secure victory from within. My plan is brilliant." Mike's talent for bullshitting was truly remarkable. In just a few sentences, he had almost managed to convince his colleagues. But they knew him too well. They'd fallen for his stories too many times. So, even if he was telling the truth this time, they assumed he was lying. "You're so dramatic. Who do you think you are? Some kind of super spy? Playing the long game. You're clearly a traitor. A sellout. Leo, from now on, when Mike has a signing, let him go alone. Don't go with him. And he's not allowed to borrow Spike either." Hearing his colleague's condemnation, Mike was crestfallen. He was about to offer another explanation when Jenna held up a hand. "Shh, quiet. My big client is calling." Meanwhile, in Chadwick's office, he had closed the blinds and made sure no one was in the hallway. He then pulled Tiffany onto his lap, gave her a playful slap on the behind, and said, "Tiffany, you need to be patient for the next few days. Work hard, learn the ropes, and don't make me look bad. When the time is right, I'll have you take over Leo Wright's position." "Leo Wright? Who's that?" Tiffany asked, wrapping her arms around his neck. "That idiot who refused to train you." Tiffany remembered. "Oh, I remember him. Humph. He had the nerve to say my perfume was too strong? I was so pissed. But he is pretty handsome." A flicker of insecurity crossed Chadwick's face. Handsome doesn't pay the bills. A man needs to be accomplished. Tiffany sensed his jealousy and giggled. "Honey, don't worry. I'm not into looks. I only like you. Leo isn't my type. By the way, is that great job you told me about yesterday the one he has?" Chadwick nodded, adding, "I've been looking into him. He's got this weird reputation. They say he's a money magnet. That's why the boss pays him so much." Hearing this, Tiffany grew concerned. "But I'm not a money magnet. I've had terrible luck with money my whole life. A fortune teller once told me I have a leaky wallet fate. Do you think I can handle his job? Chadwick waved his hand dismissively. What money magnet? That's all New Age nonsense. Superstitious garbage. I don't believe in any of it. In Western business, we call that a placebo effect. Tiffany nodded along, but she still had her doubts. Honey, what if I take over for Leo and I can't bring the money like he does? What will the boss do to you then? Chadwick smiled confidently. Don't worry. Before you replace him, I'll build up your reputation as a good luck charm. He glanced at the time. There's a big client coming to inspect the factory soon. I hear they're looking to buy 50 excavators. I won't let Leo be there. You'll go instead. All you have to do is stand by and pour some tea. When I negotiate the order with the client, I'll lower the price a bit to guarantee the deal goes through. Afterward, I'll use that success to start promoting you as the new lucky charm. After a few times, your reputation will be solid. And that Leo, right? He'll be history. Hearing his brilliant plan, Tiffany was ecstatic. Honey, you're so smart. When a woman gets excited, her mind often turns to other things. The two of them gazed at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. But just then, a message popped up on his computer's internal chat. Jenna Carter, Director Preston, our major client, Ms. Donovan, has just completed her tour of the production facility. Leo and I were with her the whole time. Ms. Donovan was extremely satisfied with our excavators and has decided to add another 50 units to her original order of 50. Please find attached the contract for 100 P098-6 large excavators for your signature. After reading the message, Chadwick's face changed instantly. Damn it, do they have any respect for me as the sales director? They took a client on a tour without even telling me, and now they've signed the deal behind my back. Honey, why are you so angry? Isn't this good news? Tiffany said. Good news my ass. Chadwick cursed, explaining the situation. I played no role in this at all. It's as if my presence doesn't matter. This is bad for my position here. Besides, I was planning to use this opportunity to build up your reputation as a good luck charm, now that they've already handled everything. How am I supposed to do that? Hearing this, Tiffany panicked. What do we do now? Chadwick thought for a moment. Then a cold smile spread across his face. What can we do? We play their game. If they're not going to make my life easy, I won't make theirs easy either. He clicked open the contract, glanced at it, and then typed his reply to Jenna. The price per unit is too low. I don't approve. A few moments later, the door to Chadwick's office was thrown open by a furious Jenna Carter. She slammed the contract down on his desk. Director Preston, on what ground are you saying the price is too low? The P098-6 model has always sold at this price. What is your problem? Chadwick just smiled thinly. Just because it has always been sold at that price doesn't mean it's the right price. I am a sales director, and I have to look out for the company's best interests. Before the boss left, he instructed me to increase the profit margin per unit and forbid selling at a low margin. So what are you suggesting? Jenna demanded. A 20% increase on the original unit price. Jenna gasped. The next second, she exploded. 20%? 20% my ass. Are you out of your mind? You're trying to rip off the client like they're some kind of tourist. Do you think they'll agree to that? Do you think we're the only company in the market that makes this kind of excavator? You think they don't have other options? Enough. Chadwick slammed his hand on the table. Get out. Jenna was so furious that she slipped off one of her sharp-heeled shoes, ready to bring it down on Chadwick's head. But just then, a group of her colleagues rushed in and, with a mix of persuasion and force, pulled her out of the office. This little firecracker has quite a temper, doesn't she? Heh. Chadwick thought to himself, a playful smirk on his face. Back in the sales department office, Jenna was crying her eyes out, tears streaming down her face. Her colleagues gathered around, trying to comfort her. Jenna, don't be so upset. Did that Chadwick guy get kicked in the head by a donkey? Raising the price at the last minute. Yeah, that's like treating the client like an idiot. What do we do now? We can't just stand by and watch Jenna's huge deal fall apart. Leo, do you have any ideas? Mike, say something. All eyes turned to Leo and Mike. Mike had always been the team strategist, full of clever ideas. And Leo wasn't just a good luck charm. When he wanted to, when he really put his mind to it, his strategic thinking and ability to read a situation were on par with the old fox Mike. Usually, when the two of them worked together, they were unstoppable. They were known as the Leo-Sully combo. Under the expectant gazes of his colleagues, Leo began his analysis. Chadwick raised the price for one reason, to send us a message. From now on, we have to consult with him before signing any deals. He wants to assert his authority as the sales director. Also, my gut tells me he has another motive here. I think so too. Mike chimed in, and I have a feeling that if he achieves his goal, it's not going to be good for you, Leo. Hearing their analysis, the other colleagues felt like a fog had been lifted. They were beginning to see the truth of the situation. Just then, Jenna wiped the tears from her face and said defiantly, "If Chadwick is going to sabotage this, then I'll just drop the deal. I'll go down with the ship if I have to. I won't let his twisted plan succeed. When the boss gets back, I'll tell him everything." A few colleagues nodded in agreement. "That's right, we'll fight him to the end. I'd like to see him refuse to approve any contract from now on. He wouldn't dare. We can't back down." But Mike just sighed and offered a word of caution. "Guys, that's not going to work against him. If I were Chadwick, I'd probably already be in the main conference room, meeting with the client. He'll offer them a new contract at an even lower price. It's a dirty move." Now, everyone understood. He's cutting me out of the picture. Jenna realized. He's trying to steal my client. Mike nodded grimly. "We're in a very bad position right now. I think we're going to lose this one." When the words "lose this one" came out of Mike's mouth, the mood in the office dropped to freezing. Jenna started crying again. "No, I worked on this deal for 6 months. I've worn out so many pairs of high heels. Chadwick, you bastard." But just then, "Anyone got a smoke?" Leo asked suddenly. His question brought a spark of hope to everyone's eyes. Even Jenna stopped crying, her face filled with renewed optimism. According to rule number 8 of the official Leo Wright playbook, when Leo starts smoking, his luck-attracting aura increases by 100%. He can turn any bad situation around. The final deal closing rate is guaranteed to be at least 200%. It was said that through smoking, Leo could communicate with the universe itself, offering a prayer to the heavens. But this move had a severe backlash. Afterward, Leo would suffer from anything from a bad cold to a minor accident. In short, it was to be used with extreme caution. "I do." Mike quickly offered him a Marlboro Red and lit it for him. Leo began to smoke, his expression thoughtful. Several of the other male colleagues lit up in solidarity. Soon, the cigarette was down to the filter. Everyone waited for Leo's verdict. Finally, Leo spoke. "Mike, do you have the contact info for the sales team at Titan Industries?" To be continued.